Hello everyone, welcome back to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason and I'm a spiritual teacher. At least again, that's the label that I'm giving myself for the time being, if we even need labels. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different. We'll see how this goes. I have no notes, no ideas, no anything. And the concept here is to raise my vibrational frequency, be in a flow state, and see what comes out. Now, this would often be referred to as channeling in, this type of videos speak. The people who watch this type of content, you know what it is. And you're channeling higher dimensional beings through your own physical vessel. So you actually get your consciousness to step out of the way. At least this is the most commonly done way that I've seen. And what I've done, what I'm going to try to do, is channel myself, which I believe is what the flow state is. When you get into a flow state, you raise your conscious vibration up, and like I've often said, you have a robust connection to your higher self, and this car sounds like it's ready to take off. You have this is the kind of thing that'll knock you out of flow state, by the way. So so you get a high vibration, you get in a meditative state essentially, and then you make a strong connection to your higher self, and stuff will flow out. That's because you're channeling a higher dimensional being. It's just that it's your consciousness that you're channeling. So same thing. Now, a lot of these other people channel other beings from other higher levels, let's say, or who aren't incarnate in this body at this time. But why would you need to do that? Why? You are a infinitely intelligent, wise being. That is the consciousness that's inhabiting your mind-body complex. So what is the point of channeling other beings? And it gets complicated. And there's no, I'm not throwing shade at any people who do this sort of thing. I wish I could do this. It's amazing to me. And there's a lot of very valuable information that comes through this way. But I don't think I've done that. I don't think I've given myself that ability in this incarnation. And I think I'm supposed to channel myself. That is my higher self. So what are we going to talk about? Well, today I had an interesting thought. So I've been getting 144 all day long. I saw it on the kilometers left on the car a few minutes ago when I was parked at a different store, and then I started charging and my eye was drawn again. I saw 144, and then I saw it on a license plate, and I've been seeing it constantly all day. So what is the 144? What's this about? Why is our eye being drawn to these synchronicities? And I'm assuming that I'm supposed to channel through what 144 means. Seems pretty logical to me, but it's what's been on my mind all day. That and another really cool thing that happened. So which one do I want to talk about? Okay, so if anyone's watching this video, you likely know what the 144 represents. The 144 it's a biblical prophecy, actually, and it refers to the group of beings that would, I'm paraphrasing here, the group of beings that are supposed to inhabit the earth after the end times, after the earth is reborn. They're coming as light warriors in order to fix the problems with this system. And in my opinion, it's 100% completely real. As real as anything is real, because none of this is real. So that's a pretty cryptic statement. And I realize that this stuff's going to sound insane to anyone who doesn't understand what this is. But what it really is it's a how do I say this without getting flagged? Let's just say there's a group of beings. I've often said this. There's another team. There's two factions that play on this planet. The light faction, the dark faction. I consider myself being of the light faction. And the dark group, the other team, let's say, has been in charge since anyone can remember, and since the fall of Atlantis. Actually, before the fall of Atlantis. That's what led to the fall of Atlantis. Now, this stuff is going to get a bit crazy. But I need to talk about the things that come to my mind that Spirit wants me to talk about. And even if I'm uncomfortable talking about this stuff because I'm worried about what other people are going to think, it's irrelevant. These are my opinions. I'm allowed to have them. If you don't like it, don't watch. So, that being said, I get a little defensive. The light and the dark factions. Okay. Well, let's go back to Atlantis. Let's talk about that. It seems like a very illogical thing or an impossible thing to have had happen, having a continent in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I'm a geologist, or at least I was a geologist, so I understand the three-dimensional explanation of how plate tectonics works very, very well. It's all BS. It's all BS. It's all a very good explanation of how the three-dimensional illusion that's designed to fool us works. Yes, very good. But as I've often said, this place is not a three-dimensional place. We're sitting in a three-dimensional frequency. Actually, it's raised a little bit, but forever we had been sitting in a low vibrational three-dimensional matrix. And the concept of any of this stuff would seem completely illogical. But as the frequencies raise, this becomes more and more not only plausible, but like the only explanation to people like you and I. So this light versus dark battle, it's been going on this planet and in the galaxy and in the universe since the beginning of time, which there is no time up there. So eternity. And it's often portrayed in a lot of our movies and book series, and it is real. Now, like I said, the Atlantis story, they had the planet was at a three-dimensional frequency, a very low one. However, the people in that colony, in that continent, had raised their vibrations so high that they thought themselves to be gods. And eventually, the dark side started to corrupt that system. And they lost control of this planet. And the planet rejected it because they had gotten a little too lofty for their own good. And it sank the continent. Now, like I said, in the three-dimensional scientific version of the world that I know very well, this isn't possible. But in a planet that's a living being, she can do whatever she wants. And she sank it. So then they dispersed out of Atlantis into various parts of the world, as well as Lemuria, which was a Pacific continent where the similar thing happened. And then we get into timelines where things get really weird because of the multiverse. Yeah. And they went off around the planet and they started new colonies, one of them being Egypt. I can't remember the name. Kem. The Egyptian Atlantean colony was the land of Kem, and then they changed it to Egypt later on. And they changed a lot of things about the Atlantean technology and the Atlantean ideals that they had brought with them, and they lost the technology and the powers that they had in Atlantis. Early on in Egyptian history, they had it. This is how they were able to construct these ridiculous pyramids that everybody says were done without the invention of the wheel even. Just so ridiculous. These things are aligned to north-south within less than a degree. Like the impossibility of anyone without advanced technology building these things it's mind-boggling. I don't know how we were ever so gullible to think that we did that in the Stone Age times. But anyway, they settled in the land of Kem, and then they developed a huge society there, and then that also collapsed. This is the history. So since that time, since the collapse of these Egyptian Atlantean colonies and others, the dark side has been in control of this planet. As simple as that. They've written the history books. This is why we don't know any of this. They've developed every system on the planet and every industry to best suit their needs, to be designed around exploitation of the planet, to be designed around submission of the humans on this planet. Why? Well, this gets you to low vibrational beings. So, as I deem myself a high vibrational consciousness inhabiting this body, there are entities, let's say, that are of the different variety. They've, instead of thriving off love and light and happiness, they thrive off the other stuff. And like I said, they've been in charge. They've consciously set up the systems the way they are and control them to this day. So the systems, like the education system, the political system, borders to countries, what else would be good? The way we run industry, like exploitation, cutting down forests to make electricity and paper and other products, entire forests just being devastated. That's what we do in this province. The education system's not designed to help our children thrive. It's designed to turn them into obedient slaves of the system. Now, these systems, like I said, they're designed to feed these entities. And the only thing that these entities feed off is low vibrational energy, like suffering and pain and anguish and mental distress and all of the torment that all of us have been through in our lives, or a lot of us. Anyone watching this channel, I suspect, has been through a lot of it. They're designed around those systems. And those systems are based off which? The 7 deadly sins. Sloth, greed, lust, all of these systems, all of these 7 deadly sins are built into the system in order to supply them with the necessary low vibrational energy that this sort of behavior brings to beings, especially us who are of the light. A being of the light who is sort of brainwashed into thinking that these sins are the way you're supposed to be, that feeds these entities. So there you have it. They're in charge of the political systems. They're in charge of everything. And it's quite organized. Most of the people who are inhabited by entities like this don't know that they are. But there are some who know exactly what they are. There's probably a few hundred at the very tippy top of all these systems that are aware of what they're doing. And the reason I brought all this up is because they're losing control of it. Their infrastructure and their systems are only going to work if everybody stays blind to what they're doing. And in my opinion, based on what I've seen in the limited news that I watch, they're starting to lose control. Now, I won't go into a ton of detail about this stuff, but the grip is starting to get tenuous, and a lot of us are waking up because it's our time to do so. It's our time in this play to go up a level, to not only see the light and the dark in yourself and fight against that, but to see it outside of yourself at the higher levels, and to not be fooled by it. Remember what I've said a million times. This is a game. We're in this game. These are levels of the game. And that level that I just described, which sounds fantastical and unlikely to almost everyone, except probably everyone who's watching this channel, it's just another level of the game. And it can be a trap. It can be a trap of us versus them. It can be a way to get you angry about what was done to you and to society and how bad things were. And it's a mistake. It's a mistake to fall for it. To give them that low vibrational energy that they crave. The only way to win at this level of the game is to stay present. Ignore it. Now, I wanted to bring this up. I didn't want to bring this up, but I've been thinking about this all day because of a comment that someone had put on one of my videos. And they had mentioned how they were suffering. I don't know if it was one of my videos or someone else's video. Anyway, it was strategically placed there by the universe, of course. And it got me thinking about how people are suffering right now and how I was suffering a week ago. And how the tactics of the other team are obvious to me now, but probably not to a lot of people. So what do I mean by that? The other team has ways. You are known. If you're watching this video, you're a high vibrational, what we're often referred to as a light warrior. And you are here to play on our side of the team, of this game, at this higher level of the game. And they know where you were going to incarnate and which body, and they've sent their minions in order to help try to stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. And me and every other one of us, 144,000, which I think is just a symbolic number, and there's actually more like several million of us. But I'm not sure, and I don't purport to know all of the details of this because it's part of the game. Don't fall for it. And I find myself sometimes falling for it and getting annoyed and getting angry that this bloody system that we're forced to live in at this level holds us down so much. And when you see what they've done and how long they've had control of this, it can cause some anger. And that is the point. Don't let it. Understand. This is part of a game that you signed up for. In order to reach enlightenment, you have to not get angry. You have to not hate. Let's put it that way. They're doing what they're doing because that is how they were designed to be. And believe it or not, this is part of the way the system was built. There was nothing that God didn't make. And if that's the case, then so he made these as well. And it's so that we can learn these lessons. You can't know love without hate. You can't know joy without pain. You can't know any of these things without the polar opposite, the yin and the yang. It's all frequency. There's all peaks and troughs. So I like to refer to these entities as the low vibers, or the LPs. You can try to figure out what that one stands for. I won't say it on here, but this is a fun game. And like I said, they're losing control of the reins of the systems, which means someone's going to have to take control of this when they lose control. And the best thing you can do is not watch any of this. Do not participate in this system that they designed from top to bottom, in every little nook and cranny that they've made. The fiat system, the political system, the school, the military, everything is designed by them. So it won't work. We don't fit in it. So just don't play. And then the worst, what's the word? The worst thing you could do is watch the news. That is just a propaganda system for them. And they probably have hands in certain algorithms on certain channels as well, which would make sure that this doesn't reach anyone. But hey, eventually, like I said, they're going to lose the grip, and stuff that wouldn't have gone viral before will. So I still am at that point where I struggle to not get annoyed with these beings and to not get frustrated and get angry. And but I flip back and forth. So, but my point is, a lot of people are suffering. They have ways of getting to you energetically. What I mean is, they can do energy attacks, essentially. They can send low vibrational energy your way. There's many ways that this happens. Some of it's technological, a lot of it isn't. It's just what we would call black magic, I guess. These are all just names for energy, ways to send energy your way. And there are ways to protect yourself as well. So let's give you a couple of those at least, so you can maybe, hopefully, if you're suffering, fight back a little bit, or at least protect yourself, like I said. So the White Pyramid of Light is one of my favorites. It's a visualization technique where you visualize yourself sitting inside a white pyramid of light, bottom included, and then you draw protective energy through your crown chakra and breathe out into the pyramid of light, and with the intention of being protected. And that's a good way. Another way is to breathe from your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra, and then expand out your aura. This is all obviously in visualization. Breathe that protective energy in and expand your aura. And I usually do this 3 times on both those exercises. Sage, Palo Santo, use it. Burn as often as you can stand it. Our house is always smoky like this. The salt lamps in the corners of your rooms. There are a million different ways to do this. Keep yourself grounded. Drink lots of good water. Take all these chemicals out. Yada, yada, yada. All the videos that I've made since I started this channel will help you. And what are they doing? They're raising your vibration, or they're putting a high vibrational protective shield around you, or they're absorbing low vibrational energy that's being sent your way. So that's the way you do it. Look it up. There's a million other ways to do this too. This is what is referred to as magic. So, yeah. And like I said, there was this man who messaged me and said that he was suffering like I was last week. And that he couldn't understand that he felt so good the week before, and why all these thoughts and all these intrusive thoughts and why all this stuff was just all of a sudden popping in. And it's because as they lose grip of the system, they're going to try desperately to make you give up on the path that you've chosen. And that is how they do it. They send low vibrational energy your way. They know where you are. Don't get paranoid, because it's all around you. There is no distance or time or any of this stuff. And it's just a game. It's another level of the game. So don't freak out that there's demons around you. This is another name for one of these low vibrational beings. But do protect yourself so that you don't have to suffer through this portion of the game until this group loses control, and then the army of light, let's say, takes back this system, and then we reign in a new age of man, humans on this planet, where there is no more of this. There's no need for police force if no one's committing crimes. If there's no hate, there's no need for borders and passports if no one hates anyone. This is how much easier things get. A lot of technology will come to light that will make our lives a lot easier, and let's call it spiritual technology. And life is going to get better than you could possibly conceive of it getting. It's going to take some time. There will be growing pains, but do not watch the news. Do not give in to these 7 deadly sins. And by the way, sin just means to miss the mark. It's ways of being that don't align with us like beings, let's say. And don't watch it. Be in the now. Practice mindfulness. Stay present. There is no future. There is no past. There is only now, the moment you're in. Think about what's happening right now that you can't stand or is unbearable. Like, I'm sitting in a comfortable seat. I'm in a vehicle. If I start thinking about money issues, that's all future possibilities. If I start thinking about the past, that's all old energy. None of that is real. I am right here, right now, in this moment, comfortable. I have water. I have warmth. I have what I need to be okay. So always go back to the breath and back to the now. And nothing is actually ever wrong. And that is, I think where I'll leave it. Now, this is a bit of an out there topic, of course, but I trust that anyone who's watching this video and is starting to understand that this is going to be the way it is. This is the truth. And it's as unbelievable as it would have sounded to me a year ago. It's the truth. And I have to accept it. And I have to accept that I need to speak my truth, which means being in a flow state. Talking about whatever's on my mind is the right thing to do. And that is going to resonate with the most people. So this was one of the videos I made about getting 1 million subscribers. And I've kind of lost the plot a little bit, and I was trying to sometimes, I'd have it at moments and other times I wouldn't, but I'd sometimes try to think my way through this game. You cannot think your way through this game. You have to flow state your way through this game. You have to emote your way through this game, which emotions, which are from your higher self, and you have to just be yourself at all times. As soon as you do that, you win. You've graduated. Do it at all times. which I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer and closer every day, and I certainly feel a lot better. So I think that's where I'll leave it for today. So like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, even the low vibers, and we'll see you tomorrow.